Hello, very good evening, friends. Are you there? All our interns. You see, I will call you. I'm on a webinar. Yes, now. All very good evening to you, my friends. Today, we are here with our friend, philosopher, guide, and well-wisher, Dr. Jancy James, who has been a very good writer, scholar, translator, academician, management professional, and whatnot, Vice-Chancellor to two major good universities, including founding Vice-Chancellor to Central University of Kerala. Before, I bring her, for talk, I would like to, first of all, welcome you all and congratulate you all for completing such an intensive, internship program for, this summer 2020. As I had informed you in our, inaugural session that we will be focusing more on professional development of translators, more from non-linguistic aspects. So before I pass on, to our mentor, Madam James, about today's webinar, I would like to welcome you all again and say special thanks to our participants as well as some friends who have joined us from abroad, like Brazil, João. We have Maria Cecilia from Colombia. We have Kurch. We have other people also, including Tabrez, Ritika, Ashika, Riddhi, Soumya, and whatnot. We will come back to listen to your voice as well as your questions. We will take up some questions from you also. But as usual, let me give a little brief on what we have done, so far to our keynote speaker, Madam Jancy James, and then we'll ask you some questions and then talk to Madam also. So the idea is to make our session more interactive for today, and it being the closing session, we have decided to give focus on skill development of language professional in totality. So that means I am obliged to cover all those points that we have already done during our internship program. But the idea of this internship program is not to focus more on your linguistic capabilities, because we believe after you learn 3 years or 4 years or 5 years or 6 years of your language skills in colleges and universities, we believe your basic training of these skills are over. But the other fundamentals are that because of many reasons, because of education system has been designed in such that we focus more on marks, we focus more on written aspects or textual aspects, but we do not get much time to develop other skill sets, which I always say as non-linguistic skill sets. So in job market, the reality is you are called for interview because of your linguistic capabilities. For example, if you have a diploma, BA, MA, or there are various levels of your education degree, such as A1 level or B1 level or C1 level or C2 level or PhD. That is one aspect. But when interviewers are judging you, they are not purely judging you for your linguistic capabilities. This is the reality, They judge you for many other things. And the most important part is your instinct, I always call it, we have done, a webinar on this emotional quotient, intelligence quotient, and social quotient. And, if your social quotient is weaker, your intelligence quotient is weaker, emotional quotient is weaker, in spite of all your capabilities, perhaps, they will not take you in the team. Or if they at all, because of, compulsion, they take you, they will put you first in the meeting. Look for someone who has these capabilities. Similarly, if you go only, for language capabilities, or you become a translator, or become a teacher, or become a transcriptionist, or become a content writer, the real harsh reality of life is you are not given proper worth. Means you are not valued for what you contribute. Because it is a practical problem, only content is not important unless it is given a shape of consumption. It is given a shape of a product. Either you produce a book, you put it on a website, you put it on a blog, you put it on a continuous activity, so that lots of followers come, lots of people read it. So the number matters, in your content writing, or in your translation, or blogging, or anything that you do. Similarly, in transcription, you do transcription, give it to client, and it's done, is done. So it is one-time activity. And if you don't do, somebody else will do. So, there are some experts in languages. For example, Anthony Pym from Tarragona, Spain. He says, language people or translators life have been, brought to stand still, and they and they do works like donkey works, And this is the reality. Many times you use chunking of, text, paragraphs, lines. Many times you do not have liberty to apply your, critical thinking. Many times you do not have liberty to apply your critical mind to diverse from activities that you are doing, because you have to follow certain standards, because you have to follow certain parameters, because you have to follow certain taggings, commas, some non-technical aspects that is always, tagged with you, your translation capabilities or writing capability. And if you do not use them, what will happen? You will create a burden for those people who are involved in these activities. So, for example, those people who are developing, these web contents, writing codes. If you do not follow parameters of those codes, your writing will be of no use to them. So they will end up doing another exercise. And because of that, your human resource, intellect or power gets diminished, because you have not been able to give them what they want. So they deploy another person. So in order to increase your worth, it is important for us to understand these basic points. Similarly, it is also important to understand, the problems of online marketing. If you do not do self-branding for your own self, the time to go calling people, for taking services is gone. It is no more working now. What is more worth is you create such activities, or you promote yourself in such a way that you don't go to people, they should come to you. Similarly, if they are looking for an expert in your domain, you should not give them a call, rather they should come and give you a call. And you should have the capabilities to negotiate price, time, and other luxury of doing, a cool work. And in order to do that, you need to do self-branding. And that happens through online, through Google phenomena, through social media marketing. Similarly, if you get a project, if you do not understand the importance of quality management, you will again produce, a substandard work, and your worth will be decreased. Similarly, if you do not understand the importance of project management, you will mess up project, if it is a big project and if we request 10 people working on. Our keynote speaker today was talking to me today about her, translating 280 pages, I'm sure she could have had a big problem going through it. But as his experience, I can give you guarantee that she must have applied certain project management there. She must have applied certain quality management there. She must be following certain style, in order to maintain consistency and later on do not face problems. In fact, these things which we are talking about, including technology, including expanding our horizons, in order to increase our worth. And this is how we have designed our course, this training program, and this is what we have done as a that translation person or a language person. We have devised variety of webinars, including citizen journalism, CAT tools, quality management, subtitling, transcription, public speaking, leadership. We have even taken example from Wolf. We have also taken example from Ants Network. We understand that we as an individual, we are weak, but if we unite, and become a team, we become a powerhouse, because, future is of soft power. War is not going to take place by, bombs and, those missiles, but it is going to take through soft power, that is writing. Your vision, your statements, your how you see things, through your writings, and this is what is going on. If you realize, lots of sentiment analysis takes place on Facebook, Google, or any Twitter or any big platforms. The sentiments are created nowadays in favor of something or against something. You are being, directly or indirectly influenced to write and get prompted to write something, and the more you get into it, the more you become part of that system, which is what we call, the system of soft power. Even diplomacy is now, through soft power only, through writings, through cultural diplomacy, through music, through creative writings, through variety of such tools which are being deployed, on social media platforms. And there are sentiment analysis being done on a daily basis or in a second-to-second basis. At times, the policy has influenced. Prime ministerial candidates are, influenced. Their candidature is influenced. Their popularity is influenced. Even policies are influenced, or even, at times, or rather, I will say many times, the share market, is influenced. For example, instantly we have seen yesterday, Lebanon, there is a big explosion, and instantly the share market, the globally could have gone down because they could have feared some terror attack, of 9/11 kind. And all these things are being judged through variety of, people who are working on social media platforms, writing, volume of writings, type of writing, how much, what is the level of engagement, how many comments are being taken, who are following it, and all these, parameters that comes into picture. So if we have this understanding of these, basic, changes that has taken place in these last 10 years, and if we are adapting to it quickly, including adapting to new technologies and using them, for our professional gains, we are able to survive in the market. But if we do not do so, we will be slowly, wiped out by those who adapt. So this adaptation is very important, and this is what we have done in our, internship program. And I feel happy that we were able to organize, apart from basic training and your assignments, as well as blogs and writings that you have done, including your engagement in social media, including trying to increase the subscriber base of Modlingua, etc. We have been able to organize 20 webinars on various topics which affects our life. I believe you are all set for your next level of, activities. if you go for a job interview, I'm sure you will be able to do well, because you know even now how to prepare your resume, how to face interviews, how to talk to people, and all these basic requirements, I believe in 2 months you have acquired it. The only way out, the only thing that is left is your degrees, which you might be getting soon, or which you will be, in time to come getting it. If you continue to work on these paths that we have already discussed and worked on, I'm 100% sure you will be able to do well in your life. So with this, my friend, I must thank you. And now I would like to invite our chief guest and keynote speaker, Madam Jancy James, for her presentation. And I'm sure you will be able to get enlightenment from her speech a lot. And also, are you there, madam? I guess your photograph is not coming, your video is off. Maybe you would like to come soon. I'm not able to see your picture, so please do join. But meanwhile she comes in, I must also tell you some basic information about her. Madam Jancy James is a well-known scholar, number one. That is very important. And she has been actively participating in variety of programs whereby we talk about professional development of translator, because she has herself been a scholar and researcher and PhD researcher for comparative studies. In earlier times, comparative studies were more to do with translation. They had lots of this comparative study part there. And I also would like to kind of explain you that our association is quite long with her, because when we organized our international conference, she was there as a part of keynote speech, and she talked about how even mother is a translator. I recall that that was a very impactful insight from her. And in also trying to explain her activities, I must tell you that she has been also on the board of variety of universities, colleges, organized seminar. She's expert in policy making also. She will be discussing it again on variety of such occasions. Because of this corona thing, she has some little time to devote on that. And most important part is that she is a well-known Malayalam to English translator. So with this, I would like to welcome her and express our sincere thanks that she is with us, and we will have more to learn from her. Madam, please. You have to unmute yourself, because your voice is it is muted. You have to unmute yourself. Hold on, ma'am. Your voice is you have to. Press the button. Now it's okay. Please, okay. Welcome. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Dr. Ravi Kumar, and well, good evening to all the participants. And at the very outset, I must congratulate all the participants who have successfully completed this summer internship course. A big hello and well, hi to all of you. Well, you have been part of a big enterprise that's happening all over the country now. Because as an academician, as a professor, retired professor, and also the Vice-Chancellor, former Vice-Chancellor of 2 universities, I must actually apologize to the students of this country that we as teachers and as academic administrators have not been able to give you the best in making it to a successful career. That is why students and aspirants, professional aspirants like you, have to go outside the universities after your regular formal education for training like this. And I must thank and congratulate Dr. Ravi Kumar for taking up this initiative to give this very valuable, training and preparation to the young people. Well, why is it that our institutions, our colleges, our universities are not able to give our students, the youth, the future of India, the future workforce of the world, the right kind of training and the right resources for taking up a career in their life after their education? This is a big question. And I'm also happy that this is a, very, what shall I say, a juncture of hope for us, because the new national education policy has been, released. That also emphasizes the need for what you have now gone through, this training, this kind of a preparation, this kind of an internship, where your resources, your hopes, your past training, your formal education, all that is linked to what you aspire for, where you want to end up, where you want to work, what kind of a job you want to do. Nothing about these things has been talked about or discussed or ever considered seriously during the formal, college or school education. Now, the educational policy has come forward with this kind of a, training, in fact, earlier than they expected in their education career, right from school. A professional, training, a job training, a vocational training is introduced even in the school level, even at the school level, which is absolutely necessary now. We pride over the fact that, 65% of our population is all youth, the young blood. But are we fair to them? Are we just to them is the big question. And I think Modlingua is trying to give this positive answer to this question. I understand that you are into, all the requirements for professional management, project management, communication, translation, interpretation, and whatnot. Everything is relevant. And after I retired, after my vice-chancellorship, I happened to be in charge as a director of a management institute. And that gave me very valuable lessons regarding what I said at the beginning, the inadequacy of our formal educational system. I found students who joined MBA course incapable of expressing what they wanted, very bad in communication. They cannot even write a leave letter error-free. I'm not asking for a felicitous, expression. Being an English professor, I may be a little demanding, but I'm not asking that at all. But without mistakes, without any grammar mistakes, an intelligent, letter, even that they were not capable of. But within 2 months of concentrated effort to give them training in this area of communication, to manage language sensibly, intelligently, logically, they picked up so fast. And I was thinking how much we could have done at the formal education level if we had given priority to this. So now this is the right time, particularly because I'm sure that even at least 30% of you would very soon go outside this country for a job, for living, for travel, whatnot. So you need, this linguistic capability, not merely as handling language, but as Dr. Ravi Kumar said at the beginning of his talk, intuition. I would say I would further add to it as insight. All about you are sights. We live in a world of images. Even now you're seeing my image. You don't know me, but you know my image now. But we have also to simultaneously develop insight along with these images, along with this beautiful opportunity of getting information. You are in the middle of a flood of information. Make use of it. Make use of all the opportunity for learning, unlearning, and relearning. And I'm sure that this internship opens up, exposes you to the world of opportunities for learning again and again. I have 3 children, and one is working in Dubai in the bank. She's working from home. Another one is working in your place in Delhi. He is a digital advertisement, creative director. And the other, my eldest daughter, is a lawyer in the High Court of Kerala. All 3 of them continuously tell me, Amma, whatever we learned is far from being enough. Every day we are learning new things. And unless we learn, we won't be able to survive. It's not merely a question of, getting more money or more pay, but we simply will not survive. So one of the most important educational goals, millennium goals of education of the United Nations is this: learning to learn. So you have to cultivate this mindset, acquire this mindset, acquire this preparedness for learning new things, to open your eyes and ears to the new developments. And also, as Dr. Ravi said again, adapt it, modify it, suit it, modify it to your personality, modify it to the requirement, modify it to the environment, modify it to the management and project that you have on your hands. This is very essential. So any opportunity for training is a wonderful opportunity, I must say, because that is exactly what we as teachers and we as academic administrators have not been able to give to our students who came to our institutions with great hope. Along with that, I must also tell you that exposure to a variety of teaching modes, pedagogical methods, people, cultures. See, you talk about liberal education. Actually, first thing that you have to do is to liberate your mind. Keep your minds open. And I must tell you, when I was the founder, Vice-Chancellor of, I was just building up a new university, Central University of Kerala. I had to be, on the search for brilliant people to teach in the university. And I gave permission for those people who were working outside the country, who were abroad, to appear on video and take part in the interview. We were a selection board of 7 people, including nominee from the President of India. And 7 of us just sat and watched these people working in Harvard Medical School, in institutions in Washington, in Chicago, forgoing their sleep because the time difference between India and Western countries, sitting up at night in the middle of night and talking to us about what they have learned, whether they are really competent to join this new institution, new university, join Department of Genomics, Department of Biochemistry. And I could understand that, see, they were all people who studied in our institutions, in Indian universities, in Indian colleges. But how much they have learned and earned, not only scholastically, but experience-wise, language-wise, communication-wise, exposure-wise, after going outside. Now, they went at a time when this networking and communication was not as good and as extensive as we have now. Often it is said, you before me, young people, you are the A3 generation regarding information. Anytime, anywhere, anything, at the touch of a finger, you can bring it to your iPhone. Any kind of information from the remotest corners of the world. Anytime. So no bar, no hindrance on time, nothing. It's all open before you. So discrete use of this information, selection of the right information, identifying your own talent, your own resources, your own potential, and developing it. I'm sure that Modlingua training has actually trained you in this regard. It's a self-counseling sometimes that you require. And I hope that this training that you have received from this institution will go a long way in not only giving you a good job, but also giving you confidence in learning, confidence in picking up new ways of working, new ways of living with one another, which is also one of the educational goals of Millennium Goals, how to live with one another in cooperation. You have learned project management, where teamwork, where working in cooperation, mutual exchange of information, mutual exchange of help, all of which is very, very important. And simultaneously, along with all the technical, logical, scholastic resources that you gather, I must, as Dr. Ravi has pointed out, as a comparative, I must also share with you my conviction that a multidisciplinary approach, which goes well with what I have already told you, a multidisciplinary, an interdisciplinary, cross-disciplinary, transdisciplinary approach to your learning. Be ready to learn anything. Be ready to compare. Be ready to append and attach and add to your resources. National education policy pleads for a holistic development of the students. That's exactly what you need. And I'm sure that this training in interpretation, training in translation, training in project management, training in emotional quotient, emotional balance, emotional intelligence, all these would actually convince you how important it is to be ready to stretch your mind across the world, across cultures, across communities, across people, to learn and pass on learning, give and take, exchange information. And I hope that this group, which is now passing out, will also keep yourselves engaged with each other, networked with one another, so that you can pass on to one another new learning, new information. And I hope this will also work I understand that Dr. Ravi has been doing this for the last 5 years. And I hope that you will further strengthen the institution also by informing the outcome of this kind of training. Now, these are the days when education is based on outcome-based education. Where have you landed? What have you gained? How have you gained? All these are important questions when you attend or complete a training. I wish you all the very best, and I hope that this training is going to give you a big turning point in your life, and also going to give you a big boost in your career ambitions and in your career potential. Thank you very much for giving me this opportunity. I understand that Dr. Ravi is also asking me to answer some questions. I hope I have the answers for you. Thank you very much. God bless you. Wish you all the very best in your career and in life.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for your enlightening, session. Such a wonderful session. I would now request, our audience who is watching us on YouTube, perhaps more than 100 people are there, to please, ask any question you have from Madam, and seek clarification, any wisdom that you want to take, from her experience. And meanwhile, I would like to again, emphasize on, the importance of National Education Policy 2020 for us, because I have not gone deep into that, but what I have understood by, giving, a quick scan of these 60 pages, I have focused more on understanding one aspect, how important the language plays role, in the new education policy and future of India. it gives me a good sense that new education policy makers have given due importance, to language development across all, ages, in all sections of society, including for those who are not, a speaker of English, or who do not have resources to learn foreign languages or even learn English. There are people who stay in villages, and very few who have good teachers there. And there, the importance of vernacular language, local language, mother tongue language comes into picture. I recall, I always take example from my own self. I've been lucky that I learned, basics of life, survival skill being in a village. Because I recall, we had a very small school, called middle school, in which we had 3-4 teachers. There was no sitting, capabilities there. People used to take, mats with them, or rather I will say bora, with them in the schools, sit on the floor, teach, learn little and fight more, and at time bunk classes and go to these bagicha of mangoes, and play there, gulli danta and all. This kind of a story was going on with me for quite some time, and I enjoyed it. Used to go to local pond, and bunk classes, and take baths there, and there I learned the swimming. And but my parents were very worried about this, and luckily we had a teacher. We was hired from a local hospital who was a compounder there, and he had no one to live with. So my father offered him a place at my place. He used to be with the family, go to his duty and come back and teach me. So that was my, the first interaction with the teacher. And luckily he was a very cool teacher, and, we used to have fun and learn with him. And there came a time when I needed to go out of the village. So I was sent in a boarding school, and my boarding school started when I was of 7 years of age. And from there, I entered into a variety of system, new, positive, entered into a elite school, military school there. I was even selected for Dehradun Public School, but my father had some apprehensions about me being a snob. So he told me to go to a military school where more discipline takes place. And luckily, in my school, we had a very wonderful teacher for English, Madam Swati Das, who has always been with us. She is even with me till today, participated in various workshops and seminars. We have TKB PD Sinha sir, who is again an English teacher. We had maths teacher. All are there, luckily. One or two are no more, but the kind of, the devotion they had, towards teaching, it is remarkable. And I cherish all of my friends, who are from the same school. We have a fraternity, a brotherhood fraternity. We always respect each other, senior, junior, as elder brothers, and juniors as younger brothers. Indeed, we help each other, and that brotherhood is my strength. I must tell you with all my honesty and frankness. And we, as classmates, we have a group of more than 100 students who were there with me in 1986. They are still with me till today. Unfortunately, there are some who have become, veterans who are no more. Somebody died fighting during Kargil. Somebody had a plane crash while trying to fly MiG-29 and all. But those who are there, survive. We have a strong bonding and brotherhood. Similar kind of bonding if we develop, as a linguist, as a Modlingua alumni, or as, a person of the same community or same profession. This brotherhood teaches you lots of things. We learn from each other. We grow together. Team, building, passion, understanding each one's pain, it makes us more stronger in fighting, the outer world. Similarly, if you go through, the networking, I will say, in a way, of variety of elite schools, business schools or IITs or even JNU or Delhi University or a good college, there is always, a brotherhood or community feeling. People help each other. So in this moment, of today's closing time, I would appeal to you all to remain united, remain connected wherever you are, and continue to help society, people, because we are fortunate people that we have something, to share. There are lots of people who do not have anything. If you go to our Modlingua channel, you will find a video which I have shooted, the 5 months back when I went to my village. People have nothing to share. There are people who cannot even afford to go to primary school, and hardly one or two gets 10th pass. So if you get time, try to bring upliftment in them. I'm not telling you to give money or make them millionaire, but if we are able to empower some people with whom we have interacted in the past, or whom we are trying to interact in future, those positive changes in life can can bring a big difference to society, to their lives, and also to our own ecosystem we call in totality the Bharatvarsh. So this is what I generally believe, that you should follow, my friends. And Madam has already given you, good insight about multidisciplinary approach, fighting to your own self, rethinking, rebuilding your own self, on a daily basis. Occasionally or at times, you should think about what you are doing, what is your purpose of life, whether you are moving in the right direction or not. These things help us, shape us. We must question, what we are doing, what is purpose of our life, and whether doing it correctly or not. All these things, help us. So before we close, I would like to come back, to our community and ask them if they have any questions. I guess Sangeeta has written some question. Why the situation is that people from India after completing higher education go to other countries than India? What are your views? Pooja is asking this question. Madam is quite, apt enough to share her views because he has also studied abroad. She was, a scholar, Shastri scholar in Canada, University of Toronto, and she came back, to contribute to the society. So I guess she is apt enough, to share. I also went to Canada and came back. My daughter is also currently studying in University of Texas, and I believe she should come back to India and contribute. So, Madam, for you to please answer this question.
Okay. Can you hear me now?
Yes, yeah.
Okay. Well, why the question I understand is that why do students go outside the country after their education for higher studies in other countries? Yeah. Well, there are good and bad reasons for that. Many people go because they want to go for higher studies, and the topic or the subject that they want to work on, study on a higher level, that facility may not be available in the country. Some people go just because they want to study in a particular institution that they have heard about, a premier institution that they have read about outside the country, abroad, and so they want to be part of it. There are also people who think that if they confine themselves to the education that they gain from their mother country, it may not land them where they really want to be career-wise. So that actually touches people like us. Why is it that we are not able to provide what other countries, educational institutions in other countries give them? But still, I must say, see, going outside, studying abroad is not a bad thing. As Dr. Ravi said, I had my postdoctoral education in University of Warwick as part of the Commonwealth Fellowship. I was there for a year. I was a professor when I went there. Well, you see, I learned a lot. The system of learning and teaching. It is very much related to the potential of the student, the choice of the student, So that helps you to build up your resources much better than here, where often you do not get what you want, and choices are sometimes made not by you, but either by the parents or by the institutions. So these are things, which actually hamper the spontaneous development of a person. So I find that education outside, which I hope, which I believe the new education policy will, you know, um, establish here also. This kind of a choice, an opportunity to learn what you're capable of, to leave it if you find that, well, this is not my cup of tea. Multiple exits, multidisciplinary courses, exits and entrances, and also credit bank, where you can leave the course that you are doing now for a while and take a course from another institution and carry the credits back to your parent institution. That's what the national education policy gives you as an opportunity. It's a wonderful thing, but there are issues. There will be problems relating to implementing it. But still, it's a big concept. It's a liberating concept, I must say. So the answer is, why people go outside is because people who think seriously about their education and career have a sense of inadequacy about our institution. I'm not saying that all institutions are bad. See, like Dr. Ravi said, I studied in a government school till my 10th standard. I studied in Malayalam medium till my 8th standard. I did not lose anything because I had wonderful teachers. I did not have a posh building to sit and learn. The floor was very rough. In some classrooms, there were not even full walls, only half walls. Nothing affected me. And I became well equipped to join one of the best institutions, best colleges for my higher education, after coming from this very ordinary government school. So all this, convinced us that we have the potential. We have good teachers. We can also improve upon our system. So I'm sure that this desperate reaching out to foreign institutions for learning will be stopped by if we implement the national education policy discreetly, in a healthy way, and with opening, with opportunities for modifying it, changing it as and when required. I hope I given the answer.
Right. There is another question, ma'am, which perhaps you would again like to take it because it's very important. And that question is, what is there, special in this new education policy, because it is being talked, at various corners, in a large number, and people are talking quite positively, some places, at some time critically, both, So even we had our webinar on this. So maybe you would like to share some of your thoughts. And Sangeeta is saying very special thanks to you for answering the previous question.
Okay. Well, national education policy is a big topic. I have studied the whole thing, even at the draft level. I've been watching the whole thing. Now, the most important thing is that there is a big change in the entire structuring of school education. Preschool education being given great importance, and also where the clustering of courses, how there is no higher secondary, 9, 10, 11, 12 as one bunch, and also this no compulsion on the languages, but it is always ideal to have mastery over at least 3 languages. See, sometimes the problem is we think very low and we think very narrowly. The moment we hear about this trilingual system, which is a wonderful thing that India has been practicing, you think about imposition of Hindi on you. Hindi is a wonderful language, and I come to Delhi often. But for COVID, I would have been there at least 3 or 4 times by now. You see, I come to Delhi, and I share the jokes of my colleagues and my friends in Delhi because I picked up the Hindi. So learning new languages is a wonderful thing. It's knowledge. It's very much a knowledge that like a knowledge that you acquire in other subjects. So the importance, the way national education policy looks at languages, study till the 5th standard in your own mother tongue medium, and after that only you go into English medium. Many people look at this, with suspicion, because how can you learn after, how can you learn anything in your own mother tongue? The inadequacy of your language, one thing. Secondly, how can you shift to English after the 5th standard, etc.? You see, the only answer that I would like to give is, I studied in Malayalam, but I had a wonderful English teacher. My mother was an English teacher. She was a wonderful teacher, one of the best teachers I ever seen. And see, if you make it a point, you learn English well. It's a language. It's not somebody else's language. It's a language. It's also a global language. It's a linked language. It's a global linked language. Learn it so that at any time, whatever you want, you can learn in that language also. This is one of the challenges of new education policy, which many people are getting worried about. Talking about the higher education level, see, the proposal is actually for a 4-year graduation course instead of the 3-year BA BSc course, a 4-year honors course, whereby you actually lay your hands on many subjects. You can specialize in one thing, but the most important thing about this particular 4-year course is that you pick up the rudiments, the lessons, the methodology of research, and the interest in research at a very early level. Right from your graduation level, you are encouraged to do research. Our country can come up. We can come up in life only if we have that, willingness to do research. It's actually learning, intensive learning, creative learning, innovative learning. So this capacity, this we have to pick up very early. What now happens in universities, in colleges, is that BA, BSc, then a post-graduation 2 years, then if you don't get a job, or if you don't have anything else to do, why not I go and do a research? But you never picked up anything regarding what research is. This is not the way. But the research aspect, the research possibility of a language, of a subject that you are learning, even at the graduate level, you are being exposed to that. What can you research on a subject that you have just started learning, even in the first year of your graduation course? So this is a drastic change. But for this, it's not enough if the curriculum is changed. Curriculum definitely has to be changed, no doubt about it. It will be changed. But the teachers also, a new pedagogy, a new mindset of the teachers is a must for this kind of a thoroughly, radically changed learning system. It'll take some time. We need to prepare. So research mentality, innovative potential. And the other thing is that if you feel that after doing a first-year course at the graduation level, oh my God, I don't think I'm fit for this. New education policy tells you that you can exit, join another course. This is a big opportunity, a big promise, but very, very difficult to implement. In the Western countries, in Western universities, they have this opportunity. But here, I've been told by a parent yesterday, look here, it is so difficult to get admission for a student in a particular college. After the first year, if the child tells you, oh my God, I can't do this anymore, I will fail, I'm not getting good marks, I want to leave it. The seat is a problem. The teacher's workload is a problem. Second thing, sometimes, compulsion and pressure also work very well with some students, some children. If they are forced into something, if they're compelled about something, they do very well. So we have to consider many things. And I think one of the things that once we reach the implementation level, we have to do a lot of preparation before we put this policy into practice. One of the things.
It seems, Madam, it has some technical issues. She will come back. Uh, while she comes back, I would just like to come back to our friends who are watching us to present their questions if they have, because Madam was saying, I recall that the education policy that has come up, the new education policy is quite friendly for language students as well as other students also, and they can do extremely well. For example, if you have taken, let's say physics, and after 1 year you realize that perhaps physics is not your cake, you can in second year shift to some other subject. I received many times some calls from a variety of people, and there they they discuss about their problems, about not able to cope up. Somebody doing engineering for 2 years, and then she says that I want to become a translator. I want to quit and become a translator. I want to quit and learn Spanish. I want to quit and learn French, etc. So such kind of questions, they keep on coming, and it becomes many times, very, very difficult for us to share and understand, the whole story of students, and it becomes very problematic, later on if they are not able to switch over to another languages or other subjects. It becomes very problematic. So Madam was talking about how this gives you flexibility to enter in first year in physics and go to literature in second year and do well there, and this was earlier not possible. And certainly there are challenges there, and there is a big problem, and that problem is the mindset of teachers, mindset of management people who are managing education, mindset of those traditionally who are not ready to accept changes. They all need to be groomed, trained. So these are all challenges that are coming. But there is another point, that has come up, in the question is when we are talking about language choices, in government colleges, such kind of opportunities are not there. Surya Maniji is asking this question. So how do we tackle, such situation in India? And there is another question from Uma Balu, a great teacher she is. Sometimes students are not sure about the language choice and ask others who in turn have no idea. We end up taking advices from, non-experts or some relatives, and we follow, some classmates or some neighbors. Parents also put pressure on you to become a doctor or an engineer, and then you enter, and then you realize that you are in a trouble zone. So in that kind of situation, do you feel this new education policy has some escape for students, ma'am? What you say?
Okay, shall I answer the question? Yeah.
Yes, please.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we are there.
Okay. I think we have to highlight three things in the context of the new education policy, and by way of answering the questions raised to me. One is that, you see, the availability of opportunity for learning other languages, the languages that you want to learn, or subjects that you want to learn. You see, here comes technology. Now we have almost got tuned to online learning. So in this time of, online learning and teaching, this availability of a course in language or subjects in a particular college that you have been admitted to, it doesn't matter at all. You can learn it from anywhere. You can learn it from MOOCs, you can learn it from SWAYAM, you can learn it from any institution, provided they put it on online. I think a time will come very soon. We should be thankful to COVID for that, although we have got other sorrows to worry about. You see, this is a time when we have to really make our online learning sophisticated, relevant, and powerful. And I hope that Modlingua will give concentration on this. You see, even now, how much I have been facing a lot of technical difficulties in communication. So think of the teachers who are teaching a particular subject. So we have to really empower our online mechanism of teaching and learning. That will solve the problem that was raised about the availability of course or language learning in the institution where admission has been given. The other thing is about what Dr. Ravi Kumar was saying. What to choose, which language to take, which subject to study. We need counseling. This is a time when our students require counseling, proper advice, well-studied, well-informed advice on how they should proceed in their studies. If they come to an impasse, if they come to a kind of a standstill, if they come to a desperation once they take up a course, they should be given the right counseling, how to proceed. I've seen so many students, feeling shattered after taking up a course or joining a particular program. And I hope that once the implementation process starts, there will be, space for all these things. Students, who are not able to complete the course that they started with, but would like to go into something different. All these things, have to be taken into consideration. The third thing is about teaching, teachers training. I think the education policy has given great importance to that. There will soon come a time when every university will have a training, course. And they have also revised and changed the B.Ed program, 4-year integrated teachers training program. All this would actually empower the teaching system. What we now, find is, see, I hope at least some of these people, these interns will also choose teaching. We need excellent teachers in this country. See, now what's happening is many people, particularly ladies, if they don't get admission anywhere else after their graduation, they go and join a B.Ed program. Or if after MSc, because nothing else clicks, or because it is good for family life, people go on teaching. No problem. Once you take up a teaching course, a teaching career, be sincere, be committed. I think it's a profession where you require complete dedication and also complete commitment. This will make a great change, not only in the institution, the quality of the institution, but in the attention of the students, in the outcome that the institution will make. So we have to now launch a new phase of excellent training of teachers who are already teachers, and also giving opportunity for a brilliant learning system for would-be teachers. Only then this educational policy can be really realized, and it can become a success. It can become a mess if you don't have the right teachers. It can become a mess if the students are not given the right counseling. It can become a mess also, and very disappointing, if you don't have a blended learning, where you have, say, you have about 10 or 16 or 25 hours of online learning. You combine it with a contact course, a few hours of direct physical interaction, interactive learning. We can actually devise all these, and I hope that Dr. Ravi Kumar, you can actually prepare, design some courses in blended learning. I think that's what you're doing there right now. And language is very much dependent on this kind of a blended learning. So I think at this time, when educational policy is just out of the bag, we have to be very optimistic. All of us, it's a democratic country, all of us give the right inputs for the practical implementation of this policy. I look upon this with hope, because we were badly in need of a change, because we have not become relevant in terms of our education. We have not made our education appropriate for the times, appropriate for our requirements and dreams. So I look forward to it with hope. Okay, I don't know whether I've
Yeah,
answered
that is
you.
great, ma'am. I mean, I'm very hopeful, just to appraise you. Uh, Before our internship program, during COVID period, we have launched one, online program called certificate course in translation management, and it had 10 students, and it went very smoothly for 2 months, and the course was completed. Luckily, we had international students, one from Canada, one from Brazil, and from different states. And it was such a wonderful experience for the fact that, this particular course has not been taught anywhere in the world. And using this online platform, I was able to launch it because I was preparing for it for more than 4 years. And I was just waiting for the right time, and I got an opportunity during COVID period because lots of other workload got, down, and I was able to devote time on that. And that particular course now is purely online. I may not have to give any lectures, but certainly people will be, people have to do some assignments, organize some webinars, because it has to deal with some practicality, also. So that kind of, and in previous years, we have also introduced, a rubric called Modlingua rubric in order to ensure good quality of your editing, writing, translation, including using artificial intelligence to increase your efficiency, at work. Plus, we have also developed our own online project management system for assignments. You can log in, go through what is available as your task, and prepare your content, submit it there. It is all online, automated. You don't have to go anywhere. You just log in and check your profile, check your activities. If your project is approved, that means your assignment was good. If your project is not approved and with certain comments are there, you have to improve upon and then recheck again and then get approved. And this can be done by anyone with basic understanding of teaching, a person who has been assigned the task with certain orientation, and the feedback mechanism is also there. There are social media platforms where students can interact. So all these things are changes that is forcing us to adapt to new situation, and this COVID thing certainly has accelerated it. So I believe there are lots of innovations in waiting, in teaching methodology, learning outcomes, including expectations from the students, expectations from teachers, and expectations of your learning, that where it will be used and how it will be used. And luckily our interns have been given assignment to tell what they are doing. They have prepared a video, they have prepared their digital profile, they will be submitting their learning outcome, what they did in these 2 months, etc., so that others can come and have reference to it, or they can also have reference to it. It structures your mind in a way, and it prompts you for doing better. If you document what you're doing for your own self, it gives you a space to rethink and move slowly. Although it requires certain efforts, which generally people avoid it, but it is always good to document what you are doing, because in long run, it helps you, it compels you to find gaps and fill those gaps, So this is something that is already in process, madam. So with this, my friends, I would like to again thank you for being with us today, and thanks for all the time and participation that you have shown. And I would like to thank Madam Jancy James, for being with us today. And on behalf of Modlingua team, and behalf of Indian Translators Association, and on the behalf of Language Community Forum, I would like to extend my sincere thanks to Madam. Maybe if we have more, opportunity, I'm sure we will have. Madam will be available as she has agreed, and to do so. And I again thank for being with us. Bye bye for now, and hope to see you soon.
Thank you. Wish you all the best.
Thank you.